Thank you, Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters. I want to set the scene. Just picture a train, an old steam engine. It's going down the railway. 260 tons of raw steel, steam billowing out of its steam pipe, barreling down the railway. But what do you see? You see a man with headphones on in the middle of the railroad. He's about to be smashed by this huge railroad car. But you have a lever. All you have to do is pull that lever, that train will be diverted off the track. But on the other track are 4 people that are unsuspecting, since the train is on the other track. They will be killed if you pull that lever. Which decision do you make? Do you kill 4 people to save 1, or do you kill 1 to save 4? Why don't we add a little bit more to the mix? What if one of those people is your loved one, a wife, a kid that's in the railway? And what if those 4 people are Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington? Would you pull the lever, or would you let it kill the loved one? These are very uncommon decisions that you would have to make, but it brings us back to the premise of these hard decisions. What is actually correct? What should be the alleyway that we should go down? So there's ethical theories that come about, and this is consequential ethical decision making. And there's 2 common theories. One of is egoism, so you think about yourself. What is in your best self-interest? The other one is a very fancy word called utilitarianism, where it's a fancy word that just says, we're going to do the best good for the most people. So I want to give you another story. Let's say you're working in a warehouse, and this is for a chemical company, and they deal with very nefarious chemicals that are very toxic. And you work for this company, and they pay your bills, you're a divorced mother of 2, and you're just making ends meet by working with this company, so you need this job. And you took a shift for a coworker to make a little extra money. And that night, this truck pulls up, and it says, hauling and towing on the side. And these men get out, grab a whole bunch of barrels, throw it in the back of the truck, and they drive off. So you ask your manager the next day, what just happened? Because this isn't a normal shift. And he said, keep quiet. But we hired a contracting company to take care of some of our waste because it's so expensive to go through the government route. And she says, where do they take it? He says, oh, there's just this abandoned rock quarry that's further north of the city. And she's thinking to herself, but that's right near the water reservoir for the entire community. That could taint our water. She didn't actually say it to him. So you're given this decision. And 3 outcomes could be, you could remain silent about it. You could report it to the media, since your uncle just happens to work for the media. Or you could approach management and give them an ultimatum. So, using the egoist approach, it would just be for yourself. As long as you can make the money, that's all that matters, and if the company goes under, then you're affected, but that could be longer term. Utilitarianism is a little bit more complex, as you can imagine. So here's a little table. I was going to do a slideshow and stuff, but small group, you guys should be able to see it. But these are 3 options that you have. Egoism just has 1, yourself. Your family is only 2 people. So every decision that you make, if you keep quiet about it, you take whatever quantifiable means that you have would only be for yourself. On the latter, if you're in a community of 10,000 people, what affects them is more important than yourself, your family, or the company. The community itself is more important in the ethical decision-making realm. And what you do is you rate it from -10 to +10 on each of the items. So you have yourself, family, the stockholder company. So if you're keeping quiet, the townspeople are going to be drinking toxic water. That includes your kids. That's not good. So you can give it a negative number, 10, and this is up for your own personal interpretation as well. If you report it to the media, the company's stockholders could plummet. The company could immediately go out of business. You lose your job, so that's bad for you. But then the townspeople will have cleaner water if they're no longer polluting the water. And if you actually approach management, come up with an alternative. Say, we can spend the extra money. Saving only a couple $1,000s is not worth killing people over. Then you can give positive amounts for those. So these are different ways to quantify a decision instead of just saying, I just want to do it for myself and I'm just going to remain quiet. But look at things in a bigger picture. A lot of us actually think like this, but we don't actually write it down. You just think within your head, okay, well, I'll pull the lever and I'm going to kill 4 people, but I'm saving a loved one of mine. So you think egotistically. That's yourself. You want to save your loved one. But then some people, this is split seconds in your head. A lot of times you guys can think back to decisions you've made and say, well, I made that decision for somebody else. I didn't make it for myself. So out of those 4 people, if you quantify it and you say, well, that was Albert Einstein, some of the theories of relativity, some of the things that he's expanded our world. But also, he invented the atomic bomb. He was involved in killing hundreds of thousands of people. But he also gave us this. And then you have Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb. What are we using in the room right now? How is this light even being lit up? So these are the things that you have to think about when you're making a decision. If you can quantify it, and this means, or if you're making any business decisions, who is it affecting? It's a lot easier to make those decisions when you have it in black and white. Write it down, multiply it by the people that are going to be affected, total it, and then you can actually legitimately say that this was the best ethical decision I could make at that very time that I made the decision. This still comes back to personal interpretation, because you're a human being. This isn't cut and dry, there isn't any black and white. I actually came up with this topic because at the speech competition, the winner of the speech competition gave a great speech, and he assigned words to every letter of the word winner. And the letter E was ethics. And he flat out said that ethics is black and white, and there's only right and wrong. And he said it over and over again. So I turned to Nico and I said, after his speech was done, of course, I turned to him and I said, that is complete hogwash. There's no way that ethics is black and white. And I gave him this very scenario, and he said, you know what, you're right. So I pondered this speech topic, and I hope you guys can take from this that you can quantify ethical decision making and think more about the big picture instead of thinking in an egotistic fashion unless you have to. So if you're in that position where you have to pull a lever and save somebody, hopefully this helps you out. Thank you very much.